If you are joining us, welcome. This is the Frisco ISD and Home Parent Training Team. We are presenting Potty Talk today. And Kimberly, do we have some other people in the waiting room?
No,
No?
everyone has been in.
Okay, awesome. Well, then I know we're starting a little bit behind schedule. So to honor your time, we'll go ahead and get this potty party started. I am Shannon Tibbetts, and these are my coworkers, Marty
Hello.
Matta, Kimberly Goshi, and then one of our superstars on our team, Megan Walls, is not able to make it today, but we are the 4 in-home parent trainers, and we are delighted to serve all of our schools this year. This is just one of the things that we help Frisco ISD with is the group parent training. We are available every Friday at the Parent Sanctuary and Lending Library at the Early Childhood School. You can reserve resources, get information, talk to one of us if you have questions, comments, concerns. We can schedule a time with you through Zoom, or even you can call the school and just reach out and talk to one of us. There is a link to reserve items through our monthly s'mores that hopefully you're receiving, also on our Facebook page and our website. Now, before we begin any of our trainings, we always like to start with making sure you are aware how to access our website because we have some really good resources on there. Kimberly, can you take us, show us how to get to, since you're in the driver's seat today, can you show us where we go to access that? We're going to just pull up the Frisco ISD homepage, and we can go to departments and scroll down to the eyes on the left-hand side there. First one, in-home training. And this is our website. Ta-da! On this page, we've got great resources for you so you can get to know your trainers. There's things that are archived in here as far as videos, all kinds of resources. But today's main focus is all about potty. So if you look on the lower left-hand side, there is a potty training link. So when we click on that, it takes you to some of our previous potty talks that we have done, one for parents and one for teachers. And then below that, we have all of these fabulous resources for you guys to be able to access. We have the Fox and Azrin. This is the basic guidelines. This is fabulous. This is a summary sheet, and you can access this. It's going to go through the highlights of what we are going over today. So instead of making all of you read a book on Fox and Azrin's potty training methods and strategies, it's summarized for you for today's training on here. So if you need a refresher, reminder, this is where you can go. We also have reports, like potty reports for how we did over the weekend. We've got social stories. We have visuals to help with teaching how to wipe, reminders, hand washing. And then we have potty charts for boys and for girls to help for those reinforcers and getting motivated if we're working towards something. We also have cute potty punch cards. So there's some great resources on here. If you develop something that you think is super great and you want to share with us, share it, send it to one of us. We'd love to even post it on our website, add additional resources. But here at the Parent Sanctuary and Lending Library, we do have additional great visuals and things to help you in your potty training journey. Okay, so I do want to let you all know that today's presentation will be recorded. So for your privacy, if you feel free to turn your camera off, keep your camera off, and you can even change your name if you do not want your name displayed. That's totally fine. You can put something in there creative like, Super Dad or Wonder Woman or, Mom Knows Best, whatever it is that you want to put in there. Feel free to get creative and fun. But the meeting will be, or the presentation will be recorded. We will also have everyone on mute during the presentation, but as soon as we get through the presentation, we will stop recording and we will open it up for question and answers. So at that time, then you guys can unmute yourself. Feel free to ask us any questions, concerns, or comments that you have about the training, or even child specific. The question and answer portion will not be recorded. Okay, so everybody is all good. So if you need help with changing your name, or if you're totally fine with keeping your name the same, if you need help, just type in the chat and we can walk you through that for how to change your name. If not, then we can go forward. Okay, so I'm taking that as everybody's all good. Nothing in the chat, Kimberly?
No.
Okay, so the first thing we need to do for potty training is we have to plan ahead. And we've got to plan ahead because our goal today is to get you excited without stressing you out about potty training. This is a fun, exciting process that your child and you and your whole family are going through. They're growing, they're developing, and trust me, it's going to be a fun and messy learning experience for you all. We're going to be dealing with pee, we're going to be dealing with poop, but we're going to be dealing with building self-esteem and confidence and independence, and it's going to be fabulous. But in order to be successful, we do need to plan ahead. So you're going to get yourself ready. You need to get yourself in the right mental, physical, psychological, state of mind. Physically, you want to make sure that you are preparing your environment. You're putting anything aside that, you would completely freak out if it got pee or poop on, right? If there is some kind of an antique rug that, is been in your family for a long time, you probably want to roll that up. You want to put it away somewhere safe. Or if you just got a brand new couch, maybe you want to put like some plastic covering or some kind of protection on it. We're going to make sure that we plan ahead so that we are successful. You do want to make sure that you consider your child's behavior when you're looking to get started in this process. And sometimes potty training is a process that we really, once we start it, we want to keep going forward. We don't want to start it and stop it and start it and stop it and just kind of like a back and forth motion. You really want to continue once you get going. However, if your child starts experiencing extreme behaviors, not just like a tantrum, but like if they're really experiencing behaviors where they're getting frustrated, maybe they're banging their head, maybe they are becoming like especially aggressive. If you're starting to see those kind of behaviors in your kiddo, you know them best. You may need to, pause, stop, take a step back, and then start again a little bit later. You also need to probably talk to your doctor and let your doctor know that you are going to be starting the potty training process with your sweet baby. This is because for a couple of reasons. Number one, you want to make sure that your doctor knows, hey, what our plan is. But the other thing that's very important is this process, the Fox and Azerin process that we're going to talk about, we're going to be encouraging you to push fluids with your child so that we keep their bladder full and they have that sensation. Well, some children are on certain medications that maybe if you are pushing fluids, especially children that maybe are on anti-seizure medication or things of that nature, it could cause an adverse reaction in their medication. So you want to make sure that your doctor is aware. Also, some children have medical conditions that their muscles, maybe they have a problem with muscle control, or maybe they don't even have like that sensation. So they're not able to pick up on, that uncomfortable feeling of, do I need to go to the bathroom? But your doctor would be able to let you know and advise you in those situations. So make sure that you talk to your doctor in those situations. Um, and then you're going to look for signs of readiness. Signs of readiness can come in a variety of different ways. So, if your child is taking their diaper or their pull up off, if they are asking you, Mommy, I need you to change my diaper, Daddy, my pull up is dirty. Okay, those are some signs that they're ready for potty training. If they're paying really close attention to what you or your husband or wife or your other family members are doing in the bathroom, like what's going on in here, and they're especially interested about you're actually peeing and pooping in the toilet and you're wiping and washing your hands and all that stuff, that's a sign of readiness. Um, if they're asking to try, that's a huge sign of readiness. If other people that they are around, like their teachers or their daycare workers or their babysitters, if they're telling you, "Hey, I really feel like your child is ready," listen to them, and you want to start planning and preparing. Okay. Once we start planning and preparing, you want to make sure that you get everybody involved. You want to tell your family, tell everybody, like, hey, we're going to be starting this process. Make sure the teachers know, make sure the doctor knows, make sure their babysitters, or if they go over to grandma and grandpa's frequently, you want to make sure that everybody knows and everybody knows your plan and your procedure so that we keep it consistent. A consistent routine is going to be way more successful than, hey, I do this at home, but when I'm at the babysitter's, we do it this way. Oh, but when I go to grandma's, it's like that. You want to make sure that everybody's on board and they stay consistent with it. Also, just because your child may have difficulty pulling up or down their pants on their own does not mean that they're not ready to potty train. They can still initiate and let you know that they need to go to the bathroom. Just because that they may need a little bit of help pulling up or down their pants doesn't mean that they can't be trained. This is a skill that maybe you just need to practice a little bit when they're getting dressed or undressed, like in the mornings, the evenings, pulling pants up or down, or even little girls, how we lift our skirts or gather our skirts when we sit down on the potty. It's a skill that you're going to need to practice. In addition, if your kiddo is nonverbal, please do not think that because they're nonverbal, they can't be potty trained. That's not the case at all. It's getting a child to initiate that they need to use the bathroom. So maybe we use sign language, like maybe we have a signal that they do to let you know, I need to go to the bathroom. Or maybe it's a gesture, or we have them hold up a picture of a potty or a restroom sign, right? To let us know, oh, they need to go to the bathroom. Or maybe it's just even pulling me towards the bathroom. So if they're nonverbal, don't think that they're not able to be potty trained, because they certainly are. And so once you've got a plan, once you know that they're ready, you're seeing the signs, you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. And the best way to do that is to pick a date, like on the calendar, let everybody know this is when we're starting. Give yourself at least 3 full days that you can devote of like undivided attention to getting this process started. Okay. Now, if you're planning ahead, we have Thanksgiving break coming up, or even winter break, that you may want to start this process. If you can give a full week, that's fantastic. But at least 3 undivided, full days that you're there at home working with your kiddo on this process is what I would suggest. Don't start it over vacation when you're going to be traveling all over. Don't start it, maybe on a special holiday or something. Make sure that you have some kind of like consistency in the routine, but also kind of get them prepped and pumped about that. We talk about priming a lot of times when we're dealing with behaviors. It can be one of those things that you start priming your kiddo about, like, hey, tomorrow we're gonna start working on using the potty like mommy and daddy do and like big brother does, and how exciting, you're getting to be a big kid. So that's all part of setting yourself up for success. And then we're going to look at how to prepare the environment. And when we think about environment, you want to make sure that this is something that is fun and enjoyable for your child. Okay, so you want to look at their bathroom or the bathroom that they're going to be utilizing, and you want to make it an environment that they enjoy. Okay, so maybe maybe there's some balloons or their favorite cartoon character, or maybe you have like a little basket with books and magazines or some little activities that are in there that they're excited to use when they're in there. But you want to make sure that you make it a fun place, because some kids can be kind of scared or kind of leery of going in the bathroom. Some kiddos, they're quite honestly, it's like, I'm not going past the doorway. Well, to break that barrier, you want to make it like a fun, exciting, welcoming, kid-friendly place in there. So we want to make it fun and happy. You want to make sure that you pick some rewards or some incentives that they enjoy, that they want to start working towards. Marty's going to talk to you a little bit here in just a little bit about reinforcers for the potty training process, but you want to make sure that you get things that your child really enjoys and likes. You might look at rewards for just, oh, can you go back one? Thanks. Rewards for sitting on the potty. They don't even have to pull down their pants. Like if they just want to like sit on the potty to kind of get the feel of it, or a reward for going to the potty, a reward for, the whole family at the end of those first 3 days, or for, the end of that week, because it is a family process that's going to require encouragement and excitement. So look at that. Also, when you're thinking of these, like fun rewards or things that you can do, you might even look into like activity trays. Some kiddos, when they start this process, they want to reach into the bowl and kind of like splash around in the water and play. If you know your kiddo loves to play in water, maybe you create like a little tray that can sit on their lap and they can splash in like some clean water or play with some sensory sand or, whatever it is, or like a fun little activity, something that busies their hands. Instead of them sticking it in the toilet bowl, they can be doing some kind of a fun activity in that aspect. Okay. And then, like I said earlier, today's training focuses on Fox and Azarin, and they wrote a book. Instead of making you guys all read the book, we're just basically summarizing and hitting the highlights of the training. And so highlights of that training would be, the first step is going to be regular underpants. Now, I know that some of you may have gone from diapers and are currently in pull-ups, but pull-ups, and some of you may be like, what? No way. Pull-ups are not your friend, okay? Pull-ups can really prolong the process of potty training, and they can really be that crutch or that security blanket that your kiddo's holding onto. We need to get rid of the pull-ups. Once you start this potty training process, put those pull-ups away. I don't just mean like in a drawer in their bedroom that they can pull out and pull on themselves. I mean, put it away somewhere high they can't reach. Maybe put it in your bedroom closet. They need to go bye-bye, okay? Because it's just going to make it more stressful for you. We don't want to take them out of a pull-up, then put them back in a pull-up if they have an accident, and taking them, in and out, in and out. Instead, we really want to focus on their becoming a big kid, right? So we need to get some cool big kid regular underwear, and we're going to need to stock up on that. Make sure they're a part of that fun process of choosing their underwear. Maybe they love Daniel Tiger, maybe they love Peppa Pig. I know my little niece is big time into Paw Patrol right now. So when she was potty training, she had Paw Patrol panties. I mean, tons of Paw Patrol panties is what she would tell me. Aunt Nana, I got my Paw Patrol panties. I'm a big girl. So that's very exciting. Some kiddos love SpongeBob. Whatever it is that your child's into, get some underwear that they're excited to put on to wear. And if they're excited about it, fantastic. They may be a little more successful, a little more eager to wear them and to keep them dry. Some of our sweet children have sensory issues. They do make underwear, and actually we have some sample ones that you can just actually see in the Parent Sanctuary and Lending Library that are seamless. So they're totally soft, they're really stretchy. This brand is Smart Knit Kids, and they like on the legs, around the waist, everything. They're totally soft and they feel good. It just hugs you. They don't bind or cut into you at all. You might want to look into like some seamless undies for your kiddo if they have high sensory needs, right? And then also, when we're potty training, expect to have accidents, of course, right? It's going to happen. It's going to get messy. It just is. But you want to make sure that if they soil their underwear, and if you're like, yeah, there's no way I'm cleaning this, I'm going to just throw the underwear away too, that's totally fine. I was in that mindset. If my kiddos pooped in their pants, I put it in like a Walmart bag, tied it up, and threw it out. Not everybody has that same mindset, but that was me. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want your child to see you throw away their underwear, because then they could start throwing it away on their own or just kind of making some assumptions there. Also, some kiddos have some serious attachments, especially to their poop. Like we see this with little boys, especially sometimes, where they kind of have like a psychological connection that's like, oh, that's a part of me, right? And so sometimes that can be a reason why they withhold. But you want to make sure that you get them in those regular underpants. They're fun, they're exciting, they're a part of the process, and to get this going. The next part is that we are going to want to keep their bladder pretty full during this. So you're going to start forcing fluids, okay? And I know forcing fluids sounds kind of weird, but really what we're doing is we're encouraging them to drink lots of fluids so that we fill their bladder, so that they can feel that uncomfortable sensation of, oh, wait, I think I need to go potty, right? So use ice, use water, milk, juice, soda sometimes, or tea. If you feel comfortable, I'm not telling you you have to give your kids soda or tea by any means, or even popsicles. Popsicles are fabulous. Marty will probably talk about this here in a little bit too, because popsicles can be used as a reinforcement for, yay, you went on the potty, that's fantastic, let's get a popsicle. But then it serves a dual purpose, because not only could it be a reward, but it also helps to refill that bladder so they have that sensation of, oh, wait, I need to go, right? Make sure that you're staying away from salty foods, because salty foods help you retain that water. So you want to make sure that you are really kind of encouraging that. You could have a travel cup. I always take my like Bubba cups and stuff with me filled with water. You want to make sure that your kiddo has, a cup nearby that they can be drinking those fluids pretty regularly during this process. And then with that, I think Miss Marty is going to come and start talking to you about scheduling and the rest of the fun process.
Thank you, Shannon. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy that you're here with us today, learning all about potty talk. Okay, so I'm going to start that with the scheduling. So this is why you needed those 3 days. This is why we wanted you to maybe even possibly have some meals prepared so that you don't have to focus on that and take the focus out of this, potty training. So you're going to be taking your kiddo to the restroom every 30 minutes. And we really want you to set a timer, because it's so easy, time lapses and you forget. So So initially, you're going to go ahead and take your kiddo to the restroom, and then once you're done in the restroom, and you can be there up to 20 minutes. We don't want you to be there any longer than that. Then you will start a timer again. So I really feel I love new technology. So I love the Alexa and the Google and maybe even your Siri if you have a watch. I didn't wear one today because last time when I set an example, my watch started like talking. So you can say, "Hey Siri, can you set a timer for 30 minutes?" Or you can even do that on your phone. And that way, that will remind you. If you don't have a smart device, that's fine. You can always set any timer or even your microwave and your kitchen timer. So what we want to do is remember, you're having your kiddo drink a lot of fluids, so their bladders are going to be full. And every 30 minutes, you're going to say, okay, it's time to go potty. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to take them to the potty. And since they're being reinforced with going to the restroom, we know they're going to want to go. Like Shannon was saying, maybe they want to play, they can have like play items, or maybe even have the reward. Initially, what you wanted to do was making sure that they even wanted to go to the party. So they already got rewarded for that. So now what we are wanting to see is that they're able to go into the potty. They're excited since their bladder is going to be full and they're not going to want to potty on their characters that they have on their underwear. So at this point, they're probably going to say yes, let's go to the potty. So remember, we are celebrating them when they go to the potty. We want them to go ahead and sit down, and of course if they do pee pee in the potty, then we are going to reward. So reward, reward, reward. We want them. And okay, so once they finish the potty, we do what we always do. We wipe, 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 and wash our hands, put up our underwear, wipe their hands, and we talk about the importance of keeping that underwear dry. And then once you get out of that restroom, you're going to say, okay, Alexa, or you set that timer again. So the other important part, can you go back to the slide 11? I'm sorry, Kimberly. We are okay, back. Okay, right there, keeping data. And I know Shannon also spoke about some of the resources that we have, and we are more than happy if you don't have a printer or you don't have access or you just want us to, we're more than happy to print those for you and even drop them off, or you can pick them up here at the Learning Library on Friday. We will print those sheets for you, but we want you to keep data when your kiddo is going to the restroom. It's going to serve many purposes, but one of them is that you can see how they're progressing, and it's easy to get discouraged sometimes. We don't want you to do that. So we want you to see, wow, okay, so the first day he went potty maybe twice, but then the second day, 4 times, so that you can see how they're growing, because believe me, this really does work. And even though we're putting a lot of work, but it's going to be, some kids get it 3 weeks, sometimes a week, 3 days, sometimes, but mostly it's going to be no more than about a week, and then you're done. And then you're not buying any more, diapers or pull-ups. So, that data is going to really help you stay motivated. And also, we want you to inform your child's teacher. If your child is already at school or maybe preschool, we want you to also send all that data with your kiddo to school, and send that to your teachers as well, so that they can see and that they can be motivated. Send your teachers emails too. Believe I was a teacher for many years, and I love getting those positive emails from parents. They want to celebrate your kiddo too, and it's also going to keep your teacher very motivated to want to do that. They're going to say, wow, look at all the effort that these parents have done to help them go potty, so I'm going to do the same thing. So go ahead and send those data sheets, and your teachers will also fill those out when they're potty training, excuse me. So now we're going to talk about reinforcement. So we already know that you're going to have those great reinforcement for those kiddos when they go potty. But one of the other things that you can do is you can literally have like a special one when they go. For example, maybe you can work on a special puzzle, and you're only going to do that. Remember, we're not going to do this any other time other than when they go potty. So maybe there's like a puzzle that you can maybe do for 10 minutes every single time they go potty, or color a few pages on a coloring book that you purposely bought just for this. Maybe some girls love to wear high heels, and they can wear their mommy's high heels and click clack around the house a little bit. That can be a reward, or spray a special perfume, or read like a page of like a great book that they've been wanting to like listen to, or play a song and dance. One family was saying that they would put money in a piggy bank, and they were trying to so because they wanted like this special toy, and that was going to be the big reward once they were fully potty trained. And there was another sweet mom that played the guitar. So what she did was, whenever her daughter went potty, she would just play the guitar. And of course, you know, you can't play the guitar any other time, only when she went potty. So that was like a special thing that they got to share. And if you can get reinforcers that work double, for example, like popsicle, maybe every time you go potty, you're going to be able to have like, you know, maybe you can even make them with like your own juice at home, maybe even like watermelon juice that makes you want to go potty anyway. But maybe popsicles or apple juice, soda. We're not, again, and like Shannon said, we're not trying to tell you to push soda if you don't believe in that. Some kids love it so much that you can have like just little cups, and you can have them in the restroom, maybe like on a shelf, and they get to have it. So when they're walking into the bathroom, they're going, okay, that's my prize, or gummy bears, anything like that. The good thing about popsicles and juices, or maybe Sonic Ice, get a bag of Sonic Ice. It's so inexpensive, you can actually buy it, and that'll also fill their bladder. So that's why it is it's good to have something that can do that as well. Also, please be sure, like, even if they have accidents, do not have any like negative reaction when they do have an accident. It's going to happen. We know that. That's why we want you to prepare your house and stay positive. We don't want your kiddos to see you having any type of negative reaction when they do have an accident, or when they don't make it quite to the bathroom and they do it right outside in front of the toilet. It happens. So just make sure that we are positive at all times. So now we're going to go 5-minute checks. Yes. So when your kiddo, with it, when you set that timer for 30 minutes, they've left the restroom and they are just doing whatever activity they're doing, every 5 minutes, if your child thrives on you celebrating with them, go ahead and just ask them and see if they're dry. Look and see if they're, just go, okay, you know, okay, let's see, are you dry? And then have them like touch the area. And if they are, you can maybe hug or praises, and just remind them that we don't want their underpants, that maybe Paw Patrol doesn't want to be wet, that they want to stay dry. So, okay. Okay, so the 5-minute checks, perfect. Let's go ahead and make sure that we're doing that. Again, only if your kiddo is a type that really wants you to celebrate with them. Now we're going to go into, you know, a warning. Like we don't want you to prompt your kiddo to go to the bathroom. So in other words, we don't want kiddos to be dependent on you prompting them to go to the bathroom. So one of the things we do want you to make sure that you're aware of is, do not say, do you have to go potty? Or let's go to the restroom. Or if you go potty, you'll get a treat. We don't want that. That's slide 16, just so you know, Kimberly. So we're going, I think, slide 16.
We need to go over positive practice.
Okay. Okay.
14.
Got it. Because I went ahead of myself. Okay. So positive practice. So have your child touch his or her. Yes. So if they do have an accident, I'm sorry. Yes. If they do have an accident, make sure that what you're doing is you have them touch their wet underwear, and you tell them where they're supposed to go potty. So what you do is, if they do have an accident, and of course, parents, we know this is going to happen, you're going to go ahead and you take them to the restroom. You prompt them to sit on the potty and then stand up and pull up their wet underwear. Okay, and you want to repeat this 5 times. Now, again, if your child is getting very upset and frustrated, then we don't want them 5 times. But, 3 times at least would be something that we want to see. So again, this is not a punishment. So this is just a reminder. So some parents say that this is actually the step that gets their kids potty trained. So that's how important it is. So positive practice is very, very important. Do not show any emotion when they have an accident. Again, not a punishment. You're just training their brains. So some people say it's like the golden nugget, because what we want to happen at this point is that they feel that uncomfortable feeling of that wet, and then they're like, okay, so this is where I'm supposed to go to the potty. So you're going to do this again with no emotion, remember. So again, just 5 times. You're going to go, you're going to pull your underwear down, you're going to pull it up again so that they feel that sensation of wet. Hopefully it's not something that they want to experience, and then it'll just stay right there in their little brain. Okay, so all right, there you go. So do not prompt your child to go to the restroom. This is very important. We don't want your kids to be dependent on you telling them when they need to go. So statements to avoid is, do you have to go potty, or let's go to the restroom, or if you go potty, you'll get a treat. We don't want that. We want them to initiate. That is what we want them to do, to be able to have that feeling and say, okay, it feels like I need to go to the restroom. That's what we want. So the dream is that they initiate on their own. Once they initiate on their own, it is all up to that kiddo. It's all on them. And that is what we were looking for. So at that point, you're going to have Alexa and whatever device you're using. We're not going to use that anymore. And you're not going to remind them every 30 minutes about going to the restroom. You're not going to do that. So once they initiate, they're on their own and you can stop the scheduling. So what's going to happen when you stop the scheduling? So probably you're going to have accidents. You're going to see, because now you're not reminding them, you're still going to continue to push fluids. You still want them to be drinking and have that sensation, but you want them to initiate it on their own. Once they've done this about maybe 20 times without having accidents, that you're still pushing fluids and they're going on their own, so we want them to feel that sensation and then get themselves to the restroom, then this is hard for some people, but this is a perfect time to take them out in public so that they can do this in the environment, because you're not always going to be at home. So, or maybe go to a neighbor, and probably a very good and close neighbor, so because you want them going to different toilets. And parents, I don't know if we spoke about this, but one of the things that we'd like is, and I know I did it for my kids, I didn't know I was doing something wrong, but don't buy like the little toilets that fit over your toilet seat. Have them go in the regular toilet seat, the one that we all have in our homes, the ones that we see in public, because we don't want them to be specific, well, I don't have my potty seat. And by all means, don't buy the standalone ones. Please make sure that they're just using the same potty seat that you would use in any bathroom. That way they're not specific and not wanting to not go to the restroom because it's not the seat that they're used to utilizing. So take them out to public. Again, you're going to give them fluids, and you're going to take them maybe to Target or maybe to Starbucks or to grandma's house. And what you're going to do is, as soon as you get there, you are going to show them where the restroom is, but you are not going to tell them, you're not going to prompt them to go to the restroom. Now, if when they get there, they say, oh, I've got to go potty, then of course you're going to take them and you're going to celebrate, make sure you're prepared, and you have your wipes and you have different things or toilet paper, but make sure that you've got maybe a change of clothes just in case there's an accident, but you're going to celebrate. But if they do not initiate and say, I want to go potty, you start shopping, or you order your coffee, or you do whatever it is that you were going to do when you got to, out in public. And at that point, what you want for them to do, again, the whole point is to initiate, you not prompting them. And if when it's time for you to pay your groceries or leave with your coffee, if they do not say that they have to go potty, you get in your car and you drive home. Now, I know for some families that's difficult. So thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to soil my car. There are some pads that you can place, or even a towel to maybe absorb some of it, because accidents will happen. But please make sure that you are going out in public so that they get used to using restrooms that are not on their own, and do not prompt them. We don't want prompt dependent kiddos. So we're filling them up with lots of fluids, having a water next to them, or having their favorite drink so that they're continually drinking. We want them to have that sensation, and we want them to be able to initiate. I cannot stress that enough. So I guess, Kimberly, thank you so much. Again, of course, if you have any questions, we are here just as a reminder on Fridays to answer any questions, or feel free to send any emails. And remember, we've got a lot of resources for you here as well that we can get to you. Okay, so now I will pass it over to Kimberly.
Hello. So I'm going to talk about bowel movements. One of the things that, as we're potty training, we're using the Fox and Azrin positive practice, where we're going back and forth to the bathroom and telling them pee goes in the potty and pulling out the wet pants and taking them down. We're not going to do that with bowel training. A lot of times kiddos will pee train first and then may have struggles with the bowel training, but it's important that we have them clean up with any bowel accidents, but we're not having them do that completely alone. So we're still showing them, like, if they can take off their underwear and kind of dump the bowel movement into the toilet, have them flush, share with them that poop goes in the toilet. And then no shame, no negative consequences or anything for that. We're just making sure that they're putting that in the toilet and they understand that that goes there. We have lots of social stories that we can share with you. We have schedules that we can share and visuals that we can share. I know for one of our students, he was having some struggles going to the restroom for bowel training, and his mom had a visual with a toilet that had a bowel movement inside of it, but it was a black and white visual. And so she kept telling him, like, poop goes in the toilet, and she would point into the bowel movement that was in the toilet. And it wasn't until she actually colored it brown that the child was actually able to understand. And then he instantly started using the toilet for bowel movements. It's very important that you're patient with bowel training, because there may be some other issues that are going on. If your child is withholding their bowel movements, that is a time that you should run that by your pediatrician, just to make sure that there are no negative health impacts from that. And they may have some recommendations for kind of making it a little bit harder for them to withhold their bowel movements. As we're potty training, inevitably there are other things that will come up that we have to consider. One of the things that parents are typically struggling with is how many squares, because kids will either use one square and get things on their hands, or they will continue to push and push and push and roll out lots of toilet paper. So we want to give them a visual of how many squares, so you can show them by taking the toilet paper into their hand and kind of rolling it down to their elbow. That's typically how many squares. Or if you have a child that can count, you can tell them we use 7 squares or 8 squares, depending on the child. A lot of times we'll use visual routines. So we show them, and again, one of those is posted on our website. We'll show them that, first you pull your pants down, then you sit on the toilet, then you urinate or have a bowel movement, then you get toilet paper. And so kind of walking them through visually can be kind of helpful. If there is regression, a lot of times if there is a change in routine, or if a new baby joins the family, we'll see some regression. And if that happens, we just step right back into Fox and Azrin. So if there is significant regression, you can go back and you can start doing the positive practice again and doing the 5-minute checks. And then typically we'll see that stops. For night training, one of the things that is a great indicator, or can be a great indicator of readiness, is if a child is waking up dry in the mornings. You can kind of help them along with that and stop fluids. Maybe at dinner time is the last time that they have fluids when you're doing night training. Have them go to the bathroom the minute before you put them in bed to go to sleep. So if you have a long nighttime routine where you're doing a bath or reading or singing or prayers or whatever your nighttime routine looks like, then you can pause that nighttime routine, get up, go to the bathroom immediately before going into the bed, and then make sure, at least for the first few weeks that you're doing the night training, that you are, as best you can, awake before or at the same time as them so you can get them to go to the restroom very quickly. You do not have to take the pull-ups away for nighttime. As soon as you start the potty training, you can keep them in pull-ups at nighttime if need be. But it is super important, again, to honor those things of cutting back on the liquids, having them go to the restroom right before bedtime, and then having them go to the restroom as soon as they wake up in the morning. Because some kiddos are very crafty and will make sure that they pee the second they wake up, because some prefer peeing in the pull-up than the toilet. For AIM training, for boys, we will often have them train sitting down at first, because for AIM training, number one, but because it doesn't have any confusion for urinating and having bowel movements in the toilet, because we sit to do everything. And then once they have mastered both of those, then you can teach them to stand. AIM training is important. I know lots of moms and dads don't want to be cleaning the pee off the floor. So sometimes we'll have, like, you can put a Cheerio or a little toilet target inside the toilet for them to aim at. It's not necessary all the time, but you can also have them watch dad or another trusted adult, or even a brother, and figuring out how to aim. If they are too short, you can also have them stand on a stool. And if they do happen to miss the bowl, then you can teach them, you can have some wipes and disinfectant in the bathroom and have them actually start cleaning up. If we have kiddos that have a fear of falling in, that's something that we like to tease out prior to starting potty training. So if they are fearful of falling in, you can have them start sitting on the toilet before you go all in on potty training. If they are fearful of falling in, you can have them, some kids have success sitting backwards and kind of hanging onto the tank of the toilet. You could also have them position themselves a little bit toward the front or toward the back and just kind of get them comfortable before you ever start potty training. Sometimes having a wider stance on the toilet is helpful. Sometimes having a raised stool is helpful, because if their feet can actually touch something, that will help with that fear of falling in. We do have some kids who enjoy playing in the water. So while you're doing the toilet training, it's important to give them access to water in other ways. So maybe you do extra water play during your toilet training. If the weather's nice, you can go outside and give them buckets of water to play in. You can have prescribed times that they go into the bathroom and play in the water in the kitchen sink, and kind of fill that need and desire to play in the water, so that by the time they get to the toilet, they no longer have that desire. If it is a significant struggle, you can also get a lap pad or tray to sit on their lap so that it kind of blocks access to getting into the water. Another common concern is loving or hating the flush. So we have some kiddos who will go and flush and flush and flush and flush. And we have some kiddos who absolutely hate the sound of the flush, and it is what keeps them from going to the bathroom. We see the hate of the flush a little bit more in public restrooms. That also goes hand in hand with the hand dryer, because those can be like jet engines nowadays. So the auto flush is another concern in the flushing department. So when mine were little, I actually brought little Post-it notes, the smaller Post-it notes, and put that on the sensor, because when the little folks are on the toilet, the sensor doesn't always pick that up, and so it will unexpectedly flush on them. So you can put that over the sensor, or even just hold your hand over the sensor, and get them used to the sound of the flush. So, and you can also give them, make sure that you're teaching them when it's okay to flush the toilet. Sense of smell, especially for our kiddos that have sensory issues, the sense of smell can be a struggle in a public restroom. So that's something that we kind of have to do step by step. It depends on how strong that aversion is. If it is a very strong aversion, then you may have to reinforce them just for opening the door to the bathroom, and then maybe for going in to wash our hands, and then maybe for just going into the stall and going right back out. And of course, these would be quick trips to the store, so that you don't have an issue of not having a bathroom to go to. So I am going to turn the recording off, and then we will open up some questions.